Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Harry's Music Room. This is like the 12th time I've started this video, so I don't know if I should do a bloopers thing for it. Okay, so this band starts out as the Classics. 1965 in Jacksonville, Florida. They're doing cover songs. They're doing a tribute to the Four Seasons. The main members are Dennis Yost on drums and Jim Cobb on guitar. The reason they call themselves the Classics is because Yost played a drum kit that was called the Classic. That was the brand. He was known as the standing drummer because he always stood when he played the drums. So they're discovered in Daytona Beach by Alan Diggs, who becomes their manager. They bring on a fellow by the name of Buddy Bowie, who is going to co-manage and also helps write some of their songs along with Cobb. So they get to Atlanta and they get signed to Capitol Records. They do a song called Pollyanna, and that's written by Joe South. And the song is pretty popular, and problem is it sounds so much like the Four Seasons that Four Seasons management contacts the radio stations and tells them to stop playing it. So they said, if you don't stop playing this song, you're not going to get any more exclusive from the Four Seasons, whatever. But in 1965, the Four Seasons were still a popular band. They find out at the time when they put the single out that in 1963, another band called the Classics had a chart song. So they're forced to change their name. And because there's four people in the band, they call themselves the Classics 4. So Alan Diggs and Bowie asked the band to relocate to Atlanta, which they do. Once they're in Atlanta, they get signed to Imperial Records. Jim Cobb, the guitarist, and Bowie hear a jazz single on the radio from a local Atlanta guy. And the song is called Spooky. And they like it so much that they write lyrics for it. And then, of course, that becomes their first single, their first album. And the song goes to number 3, and it's an instant hit. So they've got their first album, their first single, and they're getting popular. And because Dennis Yost's voice is so distinctive and so good, they become known as Dennis Yost and the Classics 4. They put out Stormy, they put out Traces, each one goes like number 5, the other one goes to number 3. They're basically a singles album, a singles band, but they do albums which sell fairly well, but they're still really a singles band. The second album, Traces. By now they've got 5 people in the band, but they're still known as the Classics 4. So, where was I at now? So they're on Imperial and Liberty. I think they're connected somehow. Well, I think Liberty was a later label that put out the Imperial stuff. They did a lot of singles. Soul Train, Every Day With You Girl, Change of Heart, Midnight, The Funniest Thing. The lineup changes throughout the years, with Dennis Yost and Cobb being the constant members. In 1970, Bowie and Cobb leave, and they form a session band. And they decide they don't want to be, a touring band. They just want to play in the studio. And they get very popular. They're the session band for Studio One recording studio in Atlanta. And they call themselves the Atlanta Rhythm Section. And then, of course, later they have another hit with Spooky. So you've got the Atlanta Rhythm Section splitting off from the Classics 4. By the mid-70s, the record sales had dropped for them. They were no longer a relevant band. It was pretty much the end of the band. In 2005, Dennis Yost has a fall that results in a brain injury, and he spends the next 3 years in a nursing home due to the brain injury, finally succumbing to his injuries in 2008. So if you're interested in any of their music, and I highly recommend that you seek out this album, there isn't a bad song on it. It is a must-have, in my opinion. And then another greatest hits package on Liberty. Either one of these records would do you well. So that's another short history of 1960s bands that we don't hear a lot about anymore. So thank you for watching. Much appreciated. Leave your comments below. I always enjoy reading them, and I try to respond to all of them. Much appreciated. Until next time, ciao.